Yesterday we learned Halacha number 12 in Mekor Chaim, but the positive mitzvot, and I have explained the concept that when a person talks Lashon Harah, he does bitul Torah. Remember the halacha that we learned? A person is required to learn Torah, and when is he exempt from learning Torah? When he has to go and make a living. Now, he explained that if a person is talking Lashon Harah, that's not for him to make a living, and therefore, the time that he speaks Lashon Harah, he's doing bitul Torah, he's not learning Torah, so not only then he's going to be charged with the Lashon Harah sins, he's also going to be served the bill, how much time he spent on talking, and he's going to be charged with avon bitul Torah. Okay, that's what we were talking about in short. So now he gives a little side note to emphasize something that is not halacha in Lashon Harah, but it's important for us to know. And he says as follows, כמו שכתב רבנו יונה בשערי תשובה, he's quoting רבנו יונה from a book called שערי תשובה, שאם אדם עושה במזיד אפילו דבר אחד, if a person does deliberately a sin, even one sin, שלא כדין תורה, not according to the Torah, but he does it כמה פעמים, he does it a few times. Right? Now, when you steal, you can steal once, but you can steal 20 times, right? How many times would this be considered a sin? 20 or 1? I sinned the same sin, but you did it 20 times. So what am I liable to, 20 sins or 1 sin? Okay? This is a question he's presenting. נחשב לו כאילו עשה עוונות חלוקים. It's considered like you did it 20 times. Somebody actually asked me that yesterday, something very similar. If it's the same sin, do I do the tshuva once for 1 sin? Habibi, you did it 20 times. You have to do tshuva for the 20 times. End of story. Ure'aya, where do we learn this from? Then he quotes a tractate called Makot, page 20, and it's talking there about a Nazir. Now a Nazir, the translation for a Nazir is a monk, but it's not a monk. Nazir is a person who mitnazer, who holds himself back from drinking wine and doing many other things. And he quotes there in the Mishnah that he says that they see a Nazir and he's about to drink wine. And they tell him, don't drink, twice. Now he drinks. How many times did he drink? He took a sip. Then he drank, took another sip. Sorry for the sound effects, but he drinks, let's say 3 times, 3 sips. What does the Mishnah says? Chayav al kol achat. For every sip that he took. Now, this is a Nazir now we're talking about. A person is not allowed to drink wine. He drank a few sips. Chayav al kol achat. He's obligated on every time that he sipped. Ke'ilu hayu avonot chalukim. Like as if it's one time a standalone sin. Umimela. פשוט דהו הדין במצוות עשה בנידון דידן. What we learned from this is that for the same sin that I talk Lashon Harah over and over and over, and I transgress a positive mitzvah, what was the positive mitzvah that I transgress? Bitul Torah. That the positive mitzvah is to learn Torah. Now I spoke with you Lashon Harah for 10 minutes. I'm going to be liable for all the sins of Lashon Harah, whatever mitzvot aseh and mitzvot lo aseh that I didn't do. Plus, I'm going to get the bill for 10 minutes of not learning Torah. So he says here, what do we learn from here? That for every moment that I didn't learn Torah, it's like transgressing a positive mitzvah over and over and over and over and over. It's not one time that you transgressed it. ואינו דומה לנטילת לולב או שופר וכדומה. And this is not like lulav, shofar, and so forth. Because lulav, how many times a day you are obligating to do the lulav? Once. You did it once, you're done. How many times a day you have to put tefillin on? Once. You did tefillin now. You don't have to do tefillin again. So if I didn't put tefillin on today, how many times I'm obligated for not putting tefillin on? Once. Didn't put the tefillin twice today. So he's giving an example, lulav, shofar, and so forth. Because this specific mitzvah is only once a day. You're only obligated once a day. Of course, if you didn't put tefillin on for a whole year, then you're obligated every year. I told you already, when I became observant, I used to write lists of all I need to pay back. Who I owe money to, how many people I punched in their face and I have to apologize to them, and so many other things. Not joking with you. And then I came to the point that I had to make lists of the things that I didn't do. How many times I did not put tefillin on? How many times I did not put tzitzit on? This is called bitul mitzvat aseh. For that you also have to do tshuva. Or you think you don't have to do tshuva for that? So I calculated how many times I did not put tefillin on. It was very easy to calculate. From age 13 till the age that I was then, whatever, almost 27. And I calculated a little bit over 4,000 times that I didn't put tefillin on. Now I owe over 4,000 times I didn't do a mitzvah taseh, bitul mitzvah taseh. Now how do you pay 4,000 times you didn't put tefillin on? So this is off the subject, but how do you pay that? You go out to the street with a pair of tefillin and you ask a person, you want to put tefillin on? Check. You want to put tefillin on? Check. And you start putting tefillin on people. Now it doesn't mean that you have to put it 4,000 times. My rabbi at the time told me, do it at least double. It's called Tshuvat HaMishkal. Tshuvat Mishkal means the weight. You have 10 kilos over here, so put 20 kilos over here, the 10 kilos will go up. So make sure you're putting on people thousands of times tefillin. Or buy a person tefillin. Every time he puts tefillin on, you get a portion in it. But you owe. Don't think that you don't owe that. This is called bitul mitzvah taseh. So 4,000 times of not putting tefillin. 4,000 times of not putting talit. How many times I did not say Kriyat Shema? How many times I did not say Birkat Hamazon? You have to do tshuva for that. But here, just to stay on the subject, you have to know the quantity. How many times, what I'm liable to. So the example that he gives with a Nazir drinking wine, or every sip, he owes like as if it's a standalone sin. Not one time. One can say it's a whole cup. Charge him for one time. No, but he drank it like this. So the Mishnah says for every sip you pay, you owe. And then he gives an example that if it's lulav, shofar, tefillin, it's once a day. You're not obligated many times. But when it comes to bitul Torah, you're obligated all day long. So technically every second, like in a taxi, how do you call them? The meter. Tick, tick. מה שאין כן, כאן המצווה היא כל רגע ורגע. But here the mitzvah is every second. ולא נפטר רגע זו במה שלפניה. And you're not exempt because before you didn't do it, the clock is ticking. שם ירחם. ממילא המבטל כמה שעות עובר בכל רגע מצווה בפני עצמה. If you did bitul Torah for a few hours, means that every moment, then it's another avera, another avera, another avera. Don't think it's one big one. It's many of them, thousands of them. So you have to know that in many cases, the sin is counted by the moment, not by the action. And specifically in what we were talking here, that when a person is doing bitul Torah while he's speaking Lashon Harah, then the meter is ticking. You speak Lashon Harah for half an hour, forget about the Lashon Harah, all the charges on the indictment for the Lashon Harah, and that can be 20 different counts. But you're also going to be served a bill. Hey, half an hour, you didn't learn Torah. Also pay for that. So, and then of course, it's not going to be one sin of bitul Torah. They're going to tell you half an hour. There's 30 minutes in half an hour. There's 60 seconds in every minute. So you do a quick calculation. How is that? 1,800 seconds. You have 1,800 seconds of bitul Torah. Every 1,800 counts on your indictment. So Bezrat Hashem should save us from these horrible things. You have to think, and for every second, every moment, what you're doing, what you're not doing, and you're not going to be served now with an indictment in the size of a yellow pages. Bezrat Hashem should save us from all these horrible sins.